9. The perfect tense. In normal or regular verbs, Areka is not a regular verb, but the regular verbs is going to have what I call reduplication. That is, they're going to take the first letter or the first consonant of your verb. Don't look for it on this chart, on that, look for it here. The first consonant of your verb, then you're going to put an augment or an epsilon, and then that you're going to reduplicate that first consonant. That's why in the chart I have pep and then a dash and then ka as an example of perfect active indicative first singular. But remember this, not every reduplication is going to have a P in it. It's the first consonant of the verb, whatever that consonant is. So you could have P epsilon P, or you can have lambda epsilon lambda, or beta epsilon beta.
It's always epsilon, man.
Always the epsilon in between. Yeah, that's a reduplication. So you're going to look for that sign, which is a reduplication sign, then the stem, and then that person and number suffix. Pluperfect is very rare, especially in Koine Greek. By that time, pluperfect is almost gone out of existence. There's like 46 examples in the New Testament. But what the pluperfect is it has the same aspect as the perfect. It's action that began in the past time, but the pluperfect has no reference to present time. And we would translate it, I had said, instead of I have said. Formally, that is the form of the pluperfect, is the same as the perfect, except you're going to have an augment, then a reduplication, and then the person and number suffix. And that person and number suffix is going to be different than the perfect person and number suffix. But it's all there in the bottom of chart 9. And those are the 6 tenses in Greek. Oh, I didn't go over the chart for the future. That's chart 10. Take a look at that, chart 10. Now notice that in future, it basically has the same person and number suffix as the present, except it has a sigma before it. So you have the stem, then the sigma, and then the person and number suffix. Now don't look at this example for the future. Again, I said arrow is an irregular future. But in the chart you see some examples. Those are the tenses. Now let's take a look at voice. What is voice? Here's my definition of voice. Voice explains the verb's action in relation to the subject. That is the persons or person performing the action. Here are the 3 voices in Greek. First there's the active. Active voice, the subject is the one performing the action. In the phrase, I scratched the floor, the sentence, I scratched the floor, I am the subject, floor is the object, scratched is the verb, and it is active. Not just because it's it could be present tense and active. I am scratching the floor.
The subject is doing
Future.
it.
Right, that point is in the voice, active voice, the subject is the one performing the action. The Greek has a middle voice. In the middle voice, the subject is producing the action and in some way is involved with it. A good example for me is I scratched my itch. Because in this case, you're both scratching and being scratched at the same time. Now it's not, the middle voice is not always reflexive. It isn't always I did something to myself. But you're usually expressing an action in which you're somehow, or the subject is somehow participating in.
So somehow the subject is both the cause, the one doing, and the one being having it done to them.
Right, right. This form, when it is actually being used as a middle voice, it will express some kind of action like that. Now the nuances of certain Greek words are such that it's got to be hard for English speakers to catch what that middle voice means. In some words you would say, how in the world could this be a middle voice? Now there's also this thing called deponency, in which there's a lot of verbs that are in the middle form, yet they are taken as active. And so that's going to add confusion to the mix as well. But when it's a middle voice and to be taken as a middle voice, then you're going to have somehow this kind of participating thing. One verb that is often used in the middle voice is the verb to answer, because you're answering for yourself in that kind of sense. Then, of course, there's the passive voice. In the passive voice, the subject is being acted on by something else. In the sentence, I was scratched by the thorn is the one doing the scratching, not me. I am being scratched.
It's the language of bureaucracy.
You're the recipient
Yeah.
of the action.
Yeah, recipient of the action.
The floor was scratched.
Mm.
Doesn't say anything about who was responsible.
Mm.
Yeah. Floor was
The cup
scratched by
fell and broke it. Well, no, that'd be middle. The cup fell and broke itself.
Yeah.
Very Spanish.
Yeah. The next aspect for a verb is mood. Now, mood does not have to do with how happy the verb is. Mood explains the degree of certainty the speaker has about the action of the verb. When we say something, make an expression, like the door is open, we are expressing a certainty about it. Whether or not it's the truth or not, that's not the issue. It could be a bald-faced lie. The door could be closed and locked and barricaded and bricked from the other side. But if we say it and express it like that, that's a high degree of certainty. That's indicative mood. If we're kind of saying, well, I don't know, it might be open, that's subjunctive mood. If we are commanding someone to open the door, that's imperative.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's a hot day and the windows are open, but it isn't helping, and you say, I wish that door was open, that's what we call an optative mood. So that's what we're talking about here. Let's take a look at each mood specifically and some examples of them. Look at charts 6 to 10, and all of these in this collection here are indicative mood verbs. Again, high degree of certainty. I'm stating it.